Hi, this is Ceevee. Last week in my company, we had a internal conflict among a couple of team leaders, and there were a lot of talking, counseling and coaching, and then finally, one of the TLs actually resigned the company. It was a little painful and a little, difficult moment for everybody, but in just 24 hours or 48 hours, we were back to track. The other team members took the role of the person who exited, and in fact, our productivity has also increased. How is that possible? For that, I have to talk to you today about conflict management and what are the types of conflicts that we should nurture within an organization. Yes, you heard it right. We need to nurture conflict in an organization, but only certain types of conflicts. There are good conflicts and bad conflicts. Okay? What are the good conflicts? Good conflict is what the organizational psychologists call as task conflict. Bad conflicts are relationship conflicts. I will explain that. For that, I have to talk to you about a very interesting story. This is about the Pixar studios. You know, the Pixar studios has been is still the number one animation studio and in Hollywood, and they produce massive animation movies which takes years to complete sometimes. So in 2000, year 2000, they were already, in their heights of glory. They had released a series of animation movies which were making a lot of money. They brought in a young and different kind of a movie director into their studio, and he was asked to give a different kind of a movie. They wanted to, up level themselves. So the director's name was Brad Bird. Brad gave the concept of making a movie. So far, Pixar has been doing movies with animals and monsters and such things, the toys and all. Now, Brad told, we want real human being structures in the movie, animation. Okay. Now, this was actually a little challenging in those days because I'm talking about year 2000 when animation technology was not as developed as what we have today. So the team those days said that this is what you're talking is very crazy. I mean, it will take at least 10 years and also it will take at least 500 million for production, which is not going to be feasible. However, Brad did not accept it. What he did is he brought together a group of animators within Pixar who are supposedly, little crazy, misfit, outlier kind of people who are very disagreeable, to put it in very plain terms. Okay, they were not liked by any of the peer members. In fact, they were black sheeps in any team. They were also called as pirates. Okay, they had very crazy idea about everything and they always create fuzzy problems in any group. So Brad identified such people and he brought together all of them and all these dissimilar people, disagreeable people together. And he said that this is what we are going to do. Are you in? So he convinced them. Initially, they were reluctant, but later they accepted the challenge. And guess what? To cut the story short, in just 4 years' time, Brad and Pixar Studios released the movie Incredibles, the Incredibles movie, which went on to win the Oscar award for the best animation feature film. And it was led by the so-called pirates in Pixar. How did this happen? Brad says it happened only because they used to nurture conflicts within that team. The conflicts were, however, based on task. Each day they were presented with different kinds of tasks for conflicting upon. And the best result is that by the end of the day, they come up with very unique and creative and probably cost-effective ideas which led to the release of the movie on time. This kind of a task-based conflict or task conflict is what we should be nurturing in an organization, right? Instead, in most of the organization, our highly productive time is sometimes wasted on relationship conflicts and how to solve them. For example, when a supervisor sends an email, or maybe when a subordinate sends an email to the supervisor, and she sees her at the coffee break and says, "Ma'am, I have sent an email. Did you see it?" Supervisor has already seen it, but then she says, "Oh, I didn't see it. I will check it." The other person thinks, "Oh, why she didn't? She sees only the other. She doesn't see my email. She doesn't even value me." That is one type of a response. The other could be, "Oh, she is lying. She already saw my email and still she is. She's such a crazy woman." So these are all different kinds of attitudes that we have towards one simple task, which is, did you see my email? Right? So half of the conversations or chatter that is happening within our minds, and also based on the relationship that we have with the person, affects the productivity. I think if we can control, or rather, I don't know whether we can actually control these kinds of, internal chatter in our minds, or the biases that we have towards a person, or the relationship issues that we have with a subordinate or with a superior. But if we can nurture positive conflicts, or rather if we can nurture task-based conflicts within an organization, that definitely leads to more and more innovation, more and more outcomes and creative burst, I would say. But when I said about conflict, and conflicts most of the time occurs when you are not ready to receive a feedback or a criticism, right? So how do we give a criticism to someone, especially if it is a subordinate? One technique that we do always is that use the technique called sandwich method, where you always start with a positive. You also establish a trust, okay? You need to say that whatever I'm going to say is because I trust you, is because I believe that you have a great potential to improvement, okay? And however, this is one area where you need to improve. And then, of course, close it with again a sandwich, again a good thing, saying that, okay, I loved this particular thing, or how you did it. So if you do this technique, I think it helps a lot in the person who receives the criticism. In a study which was conducted among many teams, it was found that this kind of a technique, when it is used, where a criticism was always given along with an appreciation, it was 40% of the people did not take it bad. In fact, they tried to improve upon it later, right? But instead, many times we give the criticism right on the face, but that again does not help. So, ladies and gentlemen, conflicts are very important. Conflicts are necessary for an organization. In my case, I believe this particular conflict was essential because it helped in eliminating the misfit from the team, which probably could have actually, if it continued for a long, it could have led to a lot more dramas in due course, which we have avoided. Secondly, it also helps in establishing a better rapport among the team members. Whenever there is a conflict and a resolution, I find that the team bonding actually becomes better, when the conflict resolution is acceptable for everyone. Okay, so again, there is no one way of doing the right thing, or one way of doing anything. Management, as well as especially people management, I would say is a very, very interesting and evolving area. It comes out of experience, and you learn many things out of experience rather than textbook or any kinds of things. So I'll see you in the next video. I hope this experience, as well as this story of Pixar, helped you in some way. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, and bye-bye.